Rapport is the foundation of every productive sales conversation. When there is rapport, the prospect listens openly, shares honest information about their situation, and considers your recommendations seriously. Without rapport, the conversation feels transactional, the prospect holds back important details, and your suggestions are met with skepticism. Many sales training programs teach rapport building scripts, specific questions to ask, techniques to mirror body language, and formulas for finding common ground. But scripted rapport often feels fake, and most prospects can sense it. Real rapport is built through genuine curiosity, honest communication, and respect for the other person's time and intelligence. This video explains how to build rapport naturally. The foundation of genuine rapport is authentic interest in the other person. Not performative interest where you pretend to care about their weekend plans so you can transition to your pitch. Real interest in their business, their challenges, and their perspective. When you are genuinely curious about how someone's business works, what keeps them up at night, and what they are trying to accomplish, that curiosity comes through in your questions, your body language, and your follow-up responses. People can tell the difference between someone who is asking questions to check boxes and someone who is asking questions because they genuinely want to understand. The best way to demonstrate genuine interest is to ask thoughtful follow-up questions. When a prospect tells you about a challenge they are facing, resist the urge to immediately connect it to your solution. Instead, dig deeper. How long has that been an issue? What have you tried so far? How is it affecting the rest of the team? These follow-up questions show that you are listening carefully and that you care about the full picture, not just the parts that are relevant to your pitch. Listening is more important than talking in the rapport-building phase. The most common rapport mistake is talking too much. Salespeople who dominate the conversation with stories about themselves, their company, and their achievements think they are building rapport by demonstrating competence. But the prospect experiences it as one-sided and exhausting. The salespeople who build the strongest rapport are the ones who create space for the prospect to talk, share, and feel heard. Active listening means more than just being quiet while the other person speaks. It means reflecting back what you hear, asking clarifying questions, and acknowledging the emotions behind the words. When a prospect says, "We've been struggling with our marketing for months," an active listener responds with, "That sounds frustrating. What specifically has not been working?" rather than, "Great, because our marketing solution can fix that." Finding common ground helps build rapport, but it needs to happen naturally. Scanning someone's LinkedIn profile for shared interests and then manufacturing a conversation about golf or their alma mater feels transparent and inauthentic. Genuine common ground emerges organically from the conversation. You might discover that you both started your businesses around the same time, or that you both serve the same type of customer, or that you share a perspective on an industry trend. When these connections emerge naturally, they strengthen the relationship. When they are forced, they feel like manipulation. Honesty builds rapport faster than perfection. If you do not know the answer to a question, say so. If your product is not the right fit for the prospect's situation, say so. If you made a mistake, acknowledge it. Prospects are accustomed to salespeople who have an answer for everything and claim their product is perfect for every situation. When you are honest about limitations, uncertainties, and areas where you are not the best option, you stand out as someone who can be trusted. Respect for the prospect's time is a powerful rapport builder. Start meetings on time. End them on time. If the prospect mentions they have a hard stop, be the one to watch the clock so they do not have to. Send agendas before meetings so the prospect knows what to expect. Follow up promptly with any information you promised. These small acts of respect communicate that you value the prospect as a person, not just as a potential sale. Matching communication style is a natural rapport-building tool. If the prospect communicates in short, direct sentences, match that style. If they are more reflective and detailed, take a more measured approach. If they prefer email over phone calls, communicate through email. Adapting to the prospect's preferred communication style makes the interaction feel comfortable rather than forced. Vulnerability in appropriate doses builds surprisingly strong rapport. Sharing a brief story about a challenge you faced, a mistake you made, or something you learned the hard way humanizes you and creates connection. The prospect sees you as a real person with real experiences rather than a polished sales professional reading from a playbook. The key is appropriateness. Share stories that are relevant to the conversation and brief enough not to derail it. A 30-second anecdote about a business lesson learned is effective. A 10-minute personal story is self-indulgent. Consistency between your rapport-building behavior and your follow-up behavior matters. If you are warm, attentive, and interested during the sales conversation but become impersonal and transactional after the sale, the prospect feels deceived. Rapport that evaporates after the contract is signed was not rapport at all. It was a performance. The strongest business relationships are built by people who treat prospects, customers, and former customers with the same level of genuine interest and respect. Remember that rapport is not a phase that you complete and move past. It is a continuous element of the entire relationship. Every interaction, from the first email to the quarterly check-in, either strengthens or weakens the rapport. The salespeople who maintain strong client relationships over years are the ones who never stop being genuinely curious about their clients' challenges, goals, and experiences. Finally, accept that rapport does not guarantee a sale, and that is fine. Sometimes you build excellent rapport with a prospect who ultimately decides not to buy. That is not a failure. That is a positive experience that might lead to a referral, a future opportunity, or simply a good professional connection. Rapport built for the sole purpose of making a sale is manipulative. Rapport built because you genuinely value the interaction is sustainable. Sales Script Studio helps founders, freelancers, and sales teams communicate more clearly with prospects. The channel breaks down cold emails, discovery calls, objection handling, follow-ups, and simple sales scripts that make conversations easier without sounding robotic or manipulative. This video is general sales communication education, not a guarantee of reply rates, booked calls, close rates, revenue, or business results. Outcomes vary by offer, market, list quality, timing, trust, and execution.